Welcome back, CAA football fans. Bobby Broyles here alongside Tim McDonald as we continue our 12 teams in 12-day series. Today, let's look at the Great Danes of UAlbany, who had a rough start in their inaugural season in CAA football last year. They did not pick up a conference win, but on the positive side, the program does have a year under their belt and now knows what to expect in year two.
Bob Ford is gone, and he left a lasting legacy at UAlbany, and all of a sudden, for the first time in 40 years, and since the program started, you have a new leader, Greg Gattuso. You have this Albany team who has a year under your belt, like you said. I think it's interesting to look at the Great Danes, and the hardest thing for me to grasp was, people saying UAlbany comes in from the NEC. It's not like they were just in the NEC playing football. They were competing in the NEC. They had 8 wins in 2011, went to the playoffs. The following year, they had 9 wins, didn't go to the playoffs. Still, that's only 2 years ago, Bob. I think, think about the travel and the schemes that they had to face. It's a lot of new things for this UAlbany team. Yes, they took a lot of licks and they took a lot of hard hits in their first year in CAA football. I still think it comes down to the fact there's still players on that team who understand what it takes to be a winning program. I think for Albany, though, it's just, another year to learn and see, even talking with some of the players, just the speed of CAA football in 1 year, a lot of differences. I think a year's only going to help change this team moving forward.
Well, we heard from the team's new head coach, Greg Gattuso, and this is what his team learned last year about the CAA.
The great thing about Albany, taking over at Albany, and again, you say, the record was not what anybody wanted, but when you step up from a league, the NEC is a great league. I coached at that level for a while at Duquesne, but when you step into the weekly grind of the CAA, it changes things, and I think our players got a taste of what it's going to take to be successful in this league. Is that it's an everyday battle, and every team in the conference can beat you, and it's a war. And I think our kids, I think they walked into it last year and realized, this is a big step. This is a different deal. We're dealing with a different breed of cat here, and I think that's going to help us going forward. And I think that most importantly, our kids' eyes are open to the level of play, and I think that helps us.
The good news for Gattuso in his first year is that 15 projected starters return for the Great Danes. Got to be a positive sign, right, Tim?
Yeah, you're talking with Coach at Media Day, and he's just going over the list of players. So many guys who were just thrust into the spotlight, young, freshman linebackers, true freshman linebackers playing CAA football. And you like to think it's a good thing, knowing that they already played, knowing that they will have some key components back. We know Will Fiacchi, quarterback, is back. We know Omar Osborne, who was a first-team All-CAA guy last year. On a positive note, you look at Albany's record and you say, yes, they only won 1 game. If you can produce a 1,000-yard back like Omar Osborne, I think you're doing something right at least. You look at Fiacchi, such an important role in CAA football is to have a quarterback. He's a guy who last year threw for 9 touchdowns versus 8 interceptions. Osborne rushed for 12 touchdowns. I think the key for Albany is you're going to have guys step up. When you're playing in the NEC and other conferences, you're going to see one player take over the game. When you're playing in CAA football, you have to have a lot of players step up. I'm going to look to guys like Cole King, the second leading receiver last year, Jake Meek, who's used as a running back / receiver. Some guys need to step up for this Albany team on offense, but I think that's where you look. You have to start with Fiacchi and Osborne and say, those are our returners, this is our key spots, and that's what UAlbany has to do moving forward.
Coach Gattuso specifically highlighted the amount of experience that returns to his program in 2014 at Media Day.
I think it's a important part of this for us. One of the issues last year was the offensive line was very young, and I think that those guys, those people learned through the fire of competition what they have to do to be successful. And I saw an improvement in our offensive line, quite honestly, through the spring, and it's something that I was excited about because they're really, the offensive and defensive lines are critical to competing in this conference. We have good skill. Omar's a great tailback. I think Will Fiacchi has a chance to be an excellent quarterback. Some of the things we're doing, will be a little different for everybody, but the positive thing is that he really embraced it in the spring and had a great spring. We have a pretty good receiving core, and I'm excited about our tight ends. I think we have a good tight end. So, we have some talent. And the big thing right now is the experience for the young guys last year is critical. Bob started several freshman linebackers that are good players, and I think they're now sophomores that know the deal. So I think the experience is critical for us to have success.
Though the Danes come into this season having won one game last year, a new head coach and fresh start should certainly look to change things in 2014. As we look at their schedule, a night game at Villanova November 15th on the American Sports Network catches my eyes, Tim. Could be a critical game for both teams coming down the stretch, and if UAlbany plays like they did at the end of 2013, this could be a very good contest.
And, you go back to, like I said earlier, UAlbany, what exactly did they learn? I think the biggest thing from CAA football, look at how UAlbany played, like you said, at the end of the stretch. Yes, versus Maine, very close game. Versus New Hampshire, very close game. Even Delaware, earlier in the season, they lost in overtime. Yep. Still, I think the biggest difference between the top teams in CAA football and some of the teams who are new to it or just have struggled in the past, it's that one or two plays can change a game just like that. And UAlbany, you look at that and you just say to yourself, are they going to learn from that experience? It does help, I think, knowing that they have so many returners and knowing that they played so well at the end of last year. Yes, the wins weren't there, but they came up close. You look at Gattuso, just a coach, I think, in general, who comes from Maryland, as he's also been a head coach, so it's not like this is his first time around the block. He was a head coach at Duquesne for 12 years. He finished Duquesne with a 97-32 record as a coach. So Gattuso is a guy who's coming in. Yes, maybe we don't know what his offense or what his defense is going to look like. You still look at this signing class, too, even this year. 20 players, including 2 transfers. So I think a lot of positives. Again, I don't think you can just sit here and say, okay, UAlbany, go out and win 8 games in CAA football in Gattuso's first year. You have a brand new stadium. You have a lot of things going for you. It's your second year in CAA football. Things are going to come in strides, and I think it's going to come around.
The Great Danes open up their season at Bob Ford Field Saturday, August the 30th against Holy Cross. You can see that contest live on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app.
And don't forget, you can catch our on-camera action with a pair of Great Danes that we got to know at Media Day. You can check it out on the blog. Every day is Saturday.
Tim and I will be back at it again Friday. TGIF, right, Tim?
Amen.
We will preview another team that will be entering its second season in CAA football, the Stony Brook Seawolves. For now, I'm Bobby Broyles. That's Tim McDonald. We'll see you again here on CAA.TV.